Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel. Today I would like to speak about a form of aggression, a form of aggressive behavior which happens a lot in our society, and most of us do not even recognize that this is aggressive behavior. Now, when we think about aggressive behavior, the first thing which we naturally go to is overt aggressive behavior. Behavior where if we see someone walk up to someone and punch the individual, an alarm bell will go up in our heads. We will immediately recognize when we see violence and that form of aggressive behavior, and that is what we are conditioned to immediately recognize in society, and it is a good thing. It is a good thing when you see someone go up to another person and physically hit the person, that we are compelled to respond, whether it be to actually go in and help the individual or to contact the authorities for the aggressive behavior. So that is what we normally see in society. But there is a different form of aggressive behavior which happens quite a bit in society, and we are not conditioned to recognize it. In fact, it happens all the time and most of us do not recognize it. Now, this form of aggressive behavior is the opposite of that form of behavior. What I mentioned before with the physical violence is an overt aggressive behavior. It is open, it is in plain sight, easily recognized. But the behavior I am talking about is covert aggressive behavior, where it is hidden, it is unseen. Now you might be wondering, what is this term? So I will use Dr. George Simon's website. I believe it is called Counseling Resource, and he gives an explanation of covert aggressive behavior, which I like. And I will quote, and it says, "The covert aggressive personality employs a potent 1-2 punch. The covert aggressive conceals aggressive intent to ensure you never really see what's coming. And he or she exploits your normal sensitivities, conscientiousness, and other vulnerabilities to manipulate you into succumbing." Now remember that. He says that the conscientious and the sensitive are vulnerable to covert aggressive individuals. So when you broaden the scale a little bit and you think about it, a society that is highly conscientious and very sensitive is a society which is highly susceptible to the attacks of covert aggressive individuals. Now, you might be asking me, give me an example of this behavior. Now I'm going to throw some terms at you. Now, think of these terms and think, do these terms directly reflect the society or the individuals in the society? The first term I will use is the term racist. That's a word which we hear being used a lot. Racist. This person is called a racist. That person is called a racist. People are being called racist all the time. The second term is sexist. Lots of accusation of sexism. Third one is homophobic. Lots of use of the term homophobic. Maybe not as much as the first two, but it is used excessively. And the last one is xenophobic. This one is on the rise. This one is going up the ranks. When you think about it, is the usage of these terms directly reflecting the amount of racist, sexist, xenophobic, homophobic individuals in society? You might say, okay, my goodness, the reason why it's being used is because we have a problem. Are you sure about that? Are we awash in racist and sexist individuals? Homophobic and xenophobic individuals? Are you sure of that? I beg to differ. I don't believe that many of these people exist in society. I do believe there are a few racists out there. I believe there are a few sexists out there. I believe there are a few homophobes out there. I believe there are xenophobes out there. But not to the extent and to the degree of the accusations being dealt out there. And that is why it is being used. It's because we have a lot of covert aggression in society. And since we are not conditioned to recognize these individuals, and we are not conditioned to recognize their behavior, they get a free pass. We are more inclined to say, oh my goodness, who is the racist? Let's get this problem fixed. Who's the homophobe? Let's get this problem fixed. Who's the xenophobe? Let's get this problem fixed. Who's the sexist? Let's get this problem fixed. That's how we are conscientious. We are sensitive to these things. And this is how they get people to submit. If you have been accused of being a racist, your first reaction would be to say, oh, I'm not a racist, I'm not a sexist, I'm not a homophobe, I'm not a xenophobe. That is why, even though you're not, it throws you back. You become defensive. You're not inclined to think, okay, this person is attacking, this person is not a victim. They want me to believe that they are a victim so that they can get control over me. They can have me submit to subdue me. I will use a very simple illustration to show you how covert aggressive behavior doesn't work if you're not sensitive or conscientious. Think about this. If a murderer breaks into your house at night with the sole intent to take your life, and that this individual runs up to you, draws a knife and starts to attack you viciously, would you look at the individual and say, oh my goodness, you're hurting me, you're a murderer, you're hurting me? Will that be your reaction? Will you try to appeal to the sensitivities and to the conscientiousness of the murderer? No, you will not. You will use a very active form of self-defense to get that person away from you, or to get away from that person, because your cries onto that person will not work. But the very fact that we have an excessive use of the terms I mentioned earlier, the racism, the sexism, the racist, sexist, xenophobe, homophobe, the reason why we have an excessive use of these terms, I would strongly argue, is not because we have a plethora of individuals, of racist, sexist, homophobes, xenophobes in society. It's quite the opposite. We have individuals who are sensitive to this type of behaviors. And because they are sensitive, they become vulnerable to this form of attack. Covert aggressive attack, hidden attacks. And that's one of the most prevalent forms of aggression in society, which most of us do not recognize. Thank you for your time.